Hello and welcome back to the channel where everything is all about light novels and light novel stuff related. This is yours truly, Takeshi here. This time, I'm back with another tier list, but this time it's a little different. This one is on Konorano 2024, or better known as Kono Light Novel ga Sugoi, which has unveiled its rankings just November this year. A pretty diverse results of rankings, I must say. As per usual, there are 40 titles that I have found in their guidebook, and I'll be listing them in 6 different tiers to see where they are belong at. And with that, let's start the first one. The first one is on Otonari no Tenshi-sama, or the English title is called The Angels Next Door Spoils Me Rotten. This series is no doubt deserved to be ranked number 1 because it has came quite a very long way to achieve this feat. This series also has sold a huge amount of copies this past month or 2 already, and it is very frightening. And come Konorano 2025, I can predict with 100% accuracy it will be inducted into the Hall of Fame very soon, so I'll be putting this up there. The next is Bathtub de Kurasu from Shikitaga. The gist of this work is about a 22-year-old girl who's also a VTuber working on a job, but due to the abuse from his boss, she refused to work and eventually stayed in her family's home in a bathtub, which has now become her new home. This story has been dubbed Sleeper of the Year due to its emotional elements and some sad environments being inserted into. I was quite liked it and being moved by it, to be honest, but for some reasons there are new readers who hasn't knew the story, so it kinda quite looks like a hidden gem. So if you are a new reader who wanted to try something fresh, something emotional, I reckon to try out with this work. Next is Stellar Step. This one is a Yuri story about 2 girls who is searching for love, even though they are living in different places. It's quite surprising for Yuri stories to have big recognition they deserve, along with a story about buying my classmate once a week, or better known as 週に一度クラスメートを買う話. So I'll be putting that in the criminally underrated list. Then there is Bokura wa Yomi Mashigeru. This is a youth romance story about a boy who wanted to know who wrote I love you on the eraser, which then turns out to be her ex-lover and classmate Masahi Wakamiya. Then suddenly a new girl, Sena Munakata, also picks up the case as well. To be honest, romance stories are no stranger to the rankings, but when you add a little more twist, it becomes gradually interesting. But at the same time, I somewhat found out like it felt a little flat. I might have to put that on the criminally underrated list as well. Next is Tome na yoru ni kakeru kimi to mine wo shita. All the English title is I fell in love with you, invisible to the naked eye as you ran into the transparent night. This story is a one-shot work. It's quite sad, but at the same time, it is quite a inspiration at the same time. It's about a boy who met a beautiful woman, but she's blind at the same time. I didn't have to say, it is a sad story, but has a happy ending, which is well. Pretty simple, yet well pretty made, yet still needs a little more in-depth than this. Also, I would do put in the criminally underrated list as well. Then next is Tokidoki Bosoto Roshia Go Deru Tonari no Alia-san, or the English title is Alia Sometimes Murmuring in Russian. This work has been tremendously selling crazily over this past few months or so already, which has been the perfect people's choice, be it for avid romance readers, manga readers, or anime watchers. I can expect nothing less of it than to put that in the future Hall of Fame list as well. Then there is playing games to put food on the table. Firstly to say, the title looks really like it was made from a horror story, but it's actually a death game story. And it does surprise me quite a bit because death game stories are rare, and it didn't really get noticeable in many genres, and that makes it the reason why it became yet successful, yet quite risingly became slowly creeping into the favorites of many people. And yes, we put in that there as well. There are also other 3 titles in this list, which includes Mushoku Tensei. I'll be putting that in there. Next is Tensura, and of course is Eminence in the Shadow. Other than that, there are other lists that I didn't mention of in this video. I'll be putting that as well. Those lists includes Koshia Hito wa Imoto no Kawari ni Shinde Kure no Hita. I'll be putting that in the criminally underrated. 7th Time Loop will be on the criminally underrated as well.
And here are other titles that are featured in this list, which includes Akuyaku Rejo wa Dekinai Route ni Harimashita.
Detective is already dead. I'll be putting that in a concerning state because it has quite worrisome. It has been already in top 10 twice. Tutorial ga hajimeru mae ni, I'll be putting that on the Still Packs a Punch, despite not being on the top 10 favorites. Arasa ga ni VTuber ni nata hanashi, I'll be putting that on the criminally underrated list, and followed by Let This Grieving Soul Retire, Will is Weakling Who Leads the Strongest Party. And next is followed by Gimai Sakazu, Spy Classroom in Still Packs a Punch, despite not being on the top 10. Yes, sadly, not on the top 10. I'm sorry, you are not on the top 10, but you'll be getting there your day very soon. 86. I'll be 86. Then I'll be putting Rascal Does Not Dream series to the bottom of this list. I'm sorry. You you missed the mark. Kusuria Hitori no Goto, I'll be putting that in here, despite it is quite selling very, very popular, or very high, to say the least. Danmachi, I'll be putting on the pass a bunch as well. ReZero movie putting that as well follows suitly. And there is Kotobi no Ijo, well, something like that. I don't know. But this is a story about two ex-lovers, ex-workers, of course, who are drunk, and ex-lovers, of course, they are ex-lovers, but they are drunk and they want to reunite their love all over again. I'll be putting that in the underrated list because it has ranked number 8, despite not being on the list of top number 1, but it still includes in the top 10. Rebuild World, I'll be putting that under here. I'm sorry, should be maybe. And then here are other 1, 2, 10, 11, 12, 13. Here are other 15 lists. I'll be putting that as well, which includes Pale Moon Reverie. I'll be putting that on the good start for new readers because this is a good start for new readers who do not know what is Pale Moon Reverie is. And followed by the slew of titles, which is also is T.S. Medic Battlefield Diary, Undead Detective Monji, underrated here. This over here. Another VTuber story over here. This one over here. This one over here. But quite very, very criminally underrated. Let me tell you, it is quite a very, very underrated. But who knows, I would be switching them soon. Depends on the rankings right now. Yeah, next I'll be putting that here. This one, the side note, which series I'll be putting that here because it is criminally underrated. I'll be putting this one here as I'll be putting this one as well here. This one here. This one here. And this one over here. And finally, this one is over. I would not, but I would put it here. And
there you go. These are the final results of the tier list in this tier. So if you do have any questions regarding this tier, or if you would have any suggestions, please do feel free to come by in the comments below. Also, if you can, do please subscribe to the channel for more interesting light novel updates this coming weeks or so. And with that, this is Takashi here, signing off, and goodbye.